I forgot that was humming. So Superman action action 52. Action 52 again do a moment. Action Comics 1000. Very interesting how we've gone to this point. Superman started from Action Comics. Was it owned by National Allied Publications? Later became DC. Very interesting. I don't know if he did much in that first comic. Don't recall it. Very strong. Originally, he was supposed to be a large, bald man. I mean, pretty much everyone knows. He's basically supposed to be Lex Luthor, which later it comes about, which I had to think about in issue last year or the year before, where Lex Luthor is basically Superman. We're trying to figure out the mystery. And then later on, he becomes. I mean, before he's like a serial, no long arcs, much like Saturday morning cartoons, comics, and then later on they had longer arcs. They're working out what kind of powers he had in the beginning, working on the comic book stories. The Silver Age introduced Brainiac, the Balsa de Candor. Supergirl was introduced in 1959. That was pre-Vietnam, so I wonder. That must have been very interesting. I wonder if that was controversial at the time. Streaky was introduced. I mean, it's probably for kids more than adults, unlike now. Supergirl joined Legion of Superheroes, issued in 276. So let's see, I don't know which one Superman joined. Superboy joined Action Comics in Legion of Superheroes. Bizarro World appeared in 1960. Parasite showed up in 1966. It was amazing, like, all that stuff happened, and I figured, like, back then, like, people would not like Parasite. People would instead be used to, like, the 1978 Superman. Maybe I was wrong with Bizarro and all that stuff introduced for the 78 film. Really great film. One of the best films of all time, right after Star Wars or before Alien. Metamorpho showed up in issues 413 to 18, with a brief run as a backup in World's Finest Comics. He showed up in Action Comics number 521. Lex Luthor and Brainiac were updated in 1983 in issue number 544. There's a war suit, Luthor Unleashed. Brainiac changes to green skinned android to skeletal robot in Rebirth. Still started as green skin in a lot of incarnations. Action Comics number 579 was homage to Asterix. From Asterix and Obelix, I'm assuming. Yep, Donald Gauls. Number 150. Number 583 had What Happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore. That must have been really big. I mean, at the time, that's probably one of the biggest stories you can do with Superman. Sort of disappears after, like, something horrible happens, and then do I want to be specific about it and spoil it for you? Where's the Alan Moore comic? Let's do it like that. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, John Byrne was in charge. We made a lot of changes. They were good over there, very different, and too much of a reboot, too much of a I debate if was different enough for an improvement. Although big changes made. Booster Gold, Martian Manhunter, the Spectre. Emperor Joker happened in 2000. Death of Superman happened in the 90s. Last Sun happened after 2000. Superman Returns happened. Christopher Kent, General Zod, Ursa and Non show up in regular DC universe continuity. It's all about Action Comics, pretty much. Obviously, there was like Infinite Crisis and stuff, but I think that was like its own issue. Big part of the biggest changes to the comics around that time. The introduction of the Green Lantern Corps and the different Lantern Corps. Con-El. Jor-El with only an L. Sorry, Kal-El with only an L. Superman Red and Blue. Lana Lang, Professor Pete Ross, Professor Hamilton. I don't even know what happened to Pete Ross now. Let me see. Professor Hamilton has no reviews. The most recent thing is Lex Luthor presidency and then Pete Ross. The original films were just serials. And then you had the serial George Reeves show. It was crazy, like how big it was over with kids at the time. I don't know how it was with comics at the time with Kirk Eklund and stuff. It's interesting. I think a lot of people still think of Christopher Reeve when they think of the films. Brandon Routh only had one film. Henry Cavill's been in a ton of films, but like he hasn't done much as a character. Like Man of Steel is mainly about Jor-El and Zod. Batman vs Superman was more about Lex Luthor than him. There was the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, which I found more interesting. The Batman ones were a lot bit better. I don't know if I want to do a whole review of all the Superman films. At least not the Christopher Reeve ones. Smallville, the live action show did pretty successful, great music. The fact that they could produce so many episodes, have such a good budget, etc. Maybe Krypton now they'll have like Game of Thrones budget. Well, I find Smallville a lot more interesting. People, Krypton's like interesting too. There was the Superman 90s cartoon, late 90s, mind you. Justice League. Oh, I wanted to discuss. I'll do this in another video actually. That's all I have to say about Action Comics and Superman, the last 1,000 issues and 8 years, and hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe.